Hello everyone, welcome to my channel guys. And yes, over the weekend a lot of films released. Though I could not catch up with all the films, I did end up watching 3 movies. The first one is Kisi Ka Bhai Kisi Ki Jaan, and I have already reviewed that film separately, so you can check that video out if you want to. The other 2 films that I watched was the Bengali film Chengiz, which stars Jeet, and Evil Dead Rise, which is the 4th installment of the Evil Dead franchise. Now starting with Chengiz, I watched the film in Bengali because obviously I know the language, but when I checked out the Hindi shows, because this was touted as the pan-India film from the Bangla film industry, so there were very limited Hindi shows in Noida. Particularly what I remember is like 3 shows. Now after watching the trailer, I had positive thoughts about it because I overall liked Jeet's presence in the film. I was looking forward to the action, and obviously it's a gangster saga, so even though the story kind of is always predictable when it comes to gangster films, but I was still looking forward to it because one of the writers of this film was Neeraj Pandey. And overall, I would say that this is an entertaining watch, though there are positives and negatives to this film as well. So starting with the positive, I feel that story-wise, the makers actually had a very good story in hand, but I think, this is just a personal opinion, I think that this movie could have been easily divided into 2 parts. Because there are so many characters in the film, the movie actually demands your attention, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but because there are so many characters, it might get a little bit confusing. Though the director has tried his best to introduce us to the characters with as less complication as possible, but I personally feel that the story could have been broken into 2 parts easily. There are a lot of time jumps in the film, and I honestly felt that for Jeet's character Chengiz, we do not get enough investment to see his rise and his struggles. Another positive of this film is that there are certain action sequences which have been choreographed really well, though in few places in the stunts you would notice the use of VFX. It's very obvious, though it can be ignored, but it was sticking out like a sore thumb in front of my eyes, so I have to mention it. However, the biggest strength of the films lies in its lead actor, which is Jeet, because for me he carried the film on his shoulders most of the time, though I would say that Rohit Roy also did a great job. I wish that his makeup when he was playing the old guy could have been done a little bit better because it did look fake in some parts. Jeet definitely is extremely charismatic on screen, and this kind of role really suits him. What I did not personally like in the film is the love story angle, because it did not make any sense to me. I do not mind a love story in a gangster film, but the relationship needs to feel a little bit organic. Here, it does not make any sense. Like, Ashmita Chatterjee is very beautiful. She looks amazing, has a beautiful screen presence, but her presence in the story does not really matter. I really liked Chata Figure also in the film. In fact, his dialogue delivery was incredible. Now, editing wise, I feel that some places the movie was moving very fast. Some places it might feel a little bit lagging. It could break your attention, but that might happen to just few audiences, not all. When I was watching the film, I was more interested in seeing Jeet's journey, like how he becomes Chengiz. When the movie was rerouting to other subplots like the love story, my attention was breaking at that time. So at the end, I would say that this is a pretty decent one-time watch, though personally, I would say that this movie could have been easily broken into 2 parts with more details of Chengiz's journey. I feel that the journey itself was shown in a very rushed manner. But anyway, compared to the first film before that I watched was Kisi Ka Bhai Kisi Ki Jaan, compared to that, this movie is much more entertaining. Anyway, if you have watched the film, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now coming to the other film that I watched, the horror movie Evil Dead Rise. Now for this movie, I am somewhere in the middle ground, and I'll tell you why. I went into the movie wanting to be scared because this is a horror film. But the unfortunate thing is I did not feel scared at all. And I mean it. Now when it comes to the representation of gore, I really appreciated that. Like, the director did not hold back. It was graphic, it was brutal AF, and I loved it. But did that make me feel scared? No. There are moments of jump scares also which have been integrated in the film, but did that scare me? No again. So while I appreciated how graphic the movie looked, I went into the theaters with the intention of feeling scared. And unfortunately, in that particular department, it did not deliver. But how you perceive horror is a very individual thing. So for someone who does not really like watching these graphic things, you might feel scared. I personally did not. Now in the jump scare moments, which are a few, The main thing when you have a jump scare scene is the build up and obviously the sound effect. Here, both of these things were lacking a bit. The biggest strength of the film is actually the cinematography and the performance, and especially the performance of Alison Sutherland. She's extremely good with her expressions, and might I say, whoever did her makeup did a fantastic job. Though she did not scare me as much, I do appreciate the effort and the look that has been given to her. I don't know why I've become so immune to it. Maybe because I watch a lot of zombie related stuff. The other actors like Lily Sullivan, Morgan Davis, Nell Fisher, and Gabriel Eccles, they also did well, but I think it's Elisa's movie through and through. Another thing which is a very distinct feature of the Evil Dead series is the integration of humor. Here also there are scenes which will make you laugh, but it's not enough. The movie also focuses a lot on the emotional aspect as well, especially the relationship between the sisters. I like how Lily Sullivan goes through an entire arc where she feels that she's not worthy of becoming a mother and ends up obviously protecting all the 3 children of her sister. Is she able to protect all of them? That obviously you will only find out after watching the film. The screenplay to some viewers might feel a little bit disjointed, and especially in the supernatural aspect, because there is really no clear vision towards that. It obviously follows those typical tropes of, the satanic verses and stuff like that. But I mean, it's very lackluster at this point, because for someone who has watched a lot of horror films, who's into a lot of horror films, might find these things very, very repetitive. So for me, because this has been touted as a horror film and I did not feel scared at all from start to finish, this definitely was a disappointment. But when it comes to a couple of other aspects, be it like the cinematography or the lighting, the makeup, the graphic representation of all the gore, all of those things I absolutely appreciated. But yes, for someone who has a very, very weak heart, definitely this movie will scare you. It's just personally not for me. So I definitely want to know your thoughts. If you watched this film, were you scared or not? I would love to read your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, with that, I will end the review video. These were the reviews of the 2 films that I watched. Share your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, I'm gonna sign off now, and I will see you soon on my next video. Bye.